Well. What do we got? What are we gonna do in this one? This is a big project, and this is gonna be a real labor of love for me. To break it down, I'm gonna do 1971, but this time I'm gonna do it a little bit longer and more expansive than previous years, just because of the artists and the styles. So, yeah, we're looking at 1971, and it's intense. It's an avalanche of experimental and music across the board. It's pretty mind-boggling to see how much came out in that 1 year. This came out a few days after Hunky Dory, December 20th. George Harrison, concert for Bangladesh. And you had Jesse Ed Davis on rhythm guitar. On this particular track, I couldn't find who was on this particular track, so I'm just gonna say like some of the people that were part of the band in general, not all the other special artists that came. But as far as the band, there was Jesse Ed Davis on rhythm guitar. He played with Taj Mahal before and after some. Tom Evans on acoustic guitar, Pete Ham on acoustic guitar, Mike Gibbons on percussion, Jim Keltner on drums, Carl Radel on bass guitar, which I think we're going to see him sometime later also, Klaus Vorman on bass guitar. I think he played with John Lennon on his solo album. Hollywood Horns, Jim Horn, Chuck Finley, Jackie Kelso, Alan Butler, Lou McCreary, and Ollie Mitchell. And then you had the Soul Choir, Claudie Lanier, Joe Green, Jeannie Green, Marlon Green, Don Nix, and Dolores Hall. And let's get into it. And then we're going to talk a little bit more, and we're going to round out this a retrospective of 1971.
My friend came to me, sadness in his eye, told me that he wanted help for his country life. Although I couldn't feel the pain, I knew I had to try. Now I'm asking all of you to help us save some lives. Such distress.
waiting to pause it. I didn't want to pause it, but now I feel like I need to pause it because I want to jump back and play that part again. Because I was thinking like, oh, where's the choir? I was like, when the horns come in, it goes to another level, and it's so tight. Like I was like, did they rehearse? They must have. How much did they rehearse this? Because it seems so tight for that many people to be on the stage. And I'm missing some people. I don't know if it was Leon Russell, but I mentioned the guitar and bass and the horns and the singers and drums, but there's organ on there. So I was like, who's playing organ? I don't know if it's Leon Russell. I forget all the people that were guests. They had the special spots with this other than Dylan, Leon Russell, Eric Clapton. I forget the other people that were playing on this whole album, but I don't know if they were all on stage at the end. So yeah, if you know some of the other people that were on stage actually playing during this final performance on Bangladesh, I'd be interested to know. But anyway, the organ, when the horns come in, yeah, it's like on another level. And I was like, oh, if the choir comes in, that would raise to another level. But then the audience all of a sudden comes in. I was like, what was it that spurred them on? Was it something where they were just excited from the fervor of the music, or was it something that was happening on stage that they were being like somehow cued to just let it out, because they're not on. I assume they're not like, they are recording, so I'm sure they didn't want the audience like jeering and being loud the whole time during the recordings, right? So maybe they just were mic'd, and they let them into some part of the mix all of a sudden as part of some production decision. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I've heard this before, but it still feels like I'm being, right off the bat, it was the tempo that I wasn't expecting, and the drums to me are just like so forceful. And I forgot it had such a sort of like kind of like reggae. It reminds me of the Neville Brothers tune Yellow Moon. It's like doom 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 doom. But yeah, it has that same flavor. I forgot Bangladesh had that. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed and off put by this. But yeah, it's so great. I need to. So I'm gonna back it up. I don't know where, but hopefully it's before a little bit more horns and where the audience comes in. I'll put it like maybe 20 seconds back. All right, let's finish this out. This is amazing. All right, I'll probably fade that out some for everybody. Anyway, that was Bangladesh live. Yeah, just freaking flawless. It's really amazing how tight that many people. I don't know. I think they did play it before. They did it in part of the concert, so maybe this was their second time. A sort of ovation, or had more people playing on top of it, playing with it. But yeah, so tight. The horns, yeah, sounded amazing. And those couple horn solos, I don't know if that was Jim Horn or saxophone, or Jackie Kelso or Alan Butler. But God, so powerful. Yeah, and then the audience came in. That really just took it over. We really felt the heightened aspect of it. God, you get chills. I got chills just from thinking I was in the audience. Hearing the audience, just like, felt like the experience you might get from just spiritual. Anyway, yeah, so that's Bangladesh, concert for Bangladesh. George Harrison, with help from Ravi Shankar. He's another one that they had a performance on there with Ravi Shankar and some other members there. Yeah, finally released December 20th. I think it was recorded a good bit earlier, but they had because they had so many people on the album. Apparently, there was a lot of issues trying to get the rights to, from all the different artists that they had on it, which I'll go into. So, up to August 1971, when George and Ravi and friends took the stage in August, 10 million East Pakistanis refugees had fled over the border into India with scant hope of surviving inevitable hunger and disease. The concerts were attended by 40,000 people, and initial gate receipts raised close to $250,000 administered by UNICEF, which in 1971, that probably seemed like a lot of money. Nowadays, we would probably consider that more of a failure. But after collecting the musicians easily, Harrison found it extremely difficult to get the recording industry to release the rights for performers to share the stage, and millions of dollars raised from the album and film were tied up in IRS tax escrow account for years. By 1985, an estimated $12 million had been sent to Bangladesh 14 years later. Scouring through 1971 for rock, like I said, we talked about honorable mentions, a lot of the albums, other, prominent releases between, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, The Doors. I mean, the list goes on. There's probably 50 to 100 really great artists that came out, either their debut albums or one of their further releases. I can't imagine. I was looking at the Billboard. I want to download the Billboard magazine for 1971, and we see all the new albums coming out, whether it was, I don't know if it came out weekly or monthly, but it's just ridiculous. I don't know what people were paid back then. Probably, $2 an hour? Who knows what it was? Like, how could you even keep up with all of this? We talk about information overload nowadays, and for sure information, but just if music was coming out at this rate, that was and that's just getting the music, not even going to see the music, going to see it live. Like, how would you on a weekend you could have 10 different I'm not sure how much they toured, how much they were available to go see and how you would get there, but it seems like you would have 10 bands to choose from, on any given weekend. Like, oh, I can't go see David Bowie, I'm going to go see Crazy Horse, or I'm going to go see Marvin Gaye, or it's like ridiculous how much music came out then. And luckily, even though everybody who's not born at that time didn't get to live through that, they can at least experience the music through that sort of retrospective, and I'm trying to get an eyeball onto it, and see like, oh, what was going on, where all of a sudden all this stuff was just this flood of great music, and obviously musicians are inspired by lots of things and inspired a lot by other musicians. So I'm sure, a lot of stuff is it was just a buildup of the period, the 60s, the late 60s, and just a buildup where you realize you could do anything. And we're going to go into those different genres that's going to show that you could do anything, whether it was jazz, world music, fusion, electronic, folk, you could be anything and play anything you wanted. And now, how much you were heard, that's another thing I said, because there's a lot of competition out there. This was a triple LP set in December 1971. It went on to top the UK charts, reached number 2 on the Billboard 200, and in 1973, the record was honored with the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. But so far, yeah, I'm going to end it there. And hope you come back for the next part of the series, and give me anything in the comments where you want me to delve any deeper into any of the rock field, any particular album that you want to do an album listen. I'm always doing a variety of things, whether it's a chronological year, or digging into a particular artist or a particular album, or even if it's just a song. It's something that if I listen to, I may turn it into a exploration or reaction. So I appreciate everybody here. it's really fun. I love hearing from people. And the last one I did about Jimi Hendrix, I had a lot of people chime in, and I love getting, either requests or just people, talking about their association, their history with the music, other things, even especially facts. Give me any research, anything that's, curious, that's gonna, make me dig a little deeper, or give me some. I'd love to hear it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. And on to the next one. We're gonna do blues. I think we're gonna go into the blues genre, which obviously took a little bit of hit relatively in the 70s. Blues had kind of already maybe gone through its peak a little bit, or its second generation of blues artists. Maybe it was the third or fourth, really, if you really go back. 20s, and then 30s, then you had the 40s and 50s and 60s. It kind of had its resurgence. By the time the 70s, there's always stuff there, but maybe out of all the styles of music, the blues had maybe the least amount of quantity. Still had the quality, obviously, but the quantity, was kind of starting to wane a little bit. But yeah, please go to my community tab. If you don't like, if you're not worrying about some of the albums up there that I've put as options, put another album. I'll add another one to the list, just like that. So, and for any stuff that I can't get up, for blocked, stuff like that, I'm really trying to find a way to get it up. I'll put the song. You can download it on the YouTube site if you want to listen along, or I'll put it towards Patreon, and you can listen to it there for free. So you can go around this area and just I'll put the song on my drive, and you can just download it and listen to it with me just like that. So any stuff that's going to be blocked easily, King Crimson or otherwise, I'll be happy to do any of that stuff, and it's not a problem. You guys just have to know how to get there with me. All right. Anyway, I'll be on the next one, and thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed it, and take care. Bye-bye.